I'm going to do a quick video today. It's based on a voicemail message that was left on my site. I encourage you to do that, from a young lady who was concerned about her redfoot and their weeping. You know, the water that can pool under their eyes. As I basically explained to her, in 80% of cases, that's just simply the humidity in your environments. Redfoot's environment is just too low. They come from dense forest jungles where humidity is anywhere from 70 to 90%. So what I'm going to do is show you how I maintain that high humidity in my pen, and give you a couple of ideas that you can utilize. One's a very simple one, and that one's a little more complex and involves an investment. And then while I do that, I'm going to feed them today. And this is another food stuff that you can feed these guys. It's radicchio, little red balls that look like a small ball of cabbage you find in your grocery stores. They're not inexpensive, but chicory is a very good food item for redfoots. It can also be for Russians or Greeks. It's in the same family as endive and the same family as dandelions, oddly enough. So I'm going to feed them some radicchio here, and then I'm going to show you a couple of ways you can keep the humidity up in your pen. The simplest thing you can do to decrease the humidity in these pens is, you can see that water bowl, you can see my male kind of wandering over top of that, is basically take that water bowl, and mine's a large one, you can see it's basically almost a foot in circumference and it's about 2 inches deep every day, is slowly pour that throughout the pen, and that, or the main areas, like twice a week. Now, the one thing you'll need to have in your pen, which mine does, is you need to have 4 to 5 inches of a topsoil substrate in the pen. And I've got, on top of that, I've got this cypress mulch on top of that, because you need that level and that deepness of substrate to absorb the water that's coming through. But what happens, and this is based on the premise that you've got an enclosed pen like mine is. Mine's enclosed with plexiglass sheets. And if you watched the other video, I showed you how to basically, this pen and how it's assembled, put together when I cleaned it out. But what happens is that water gets absorbed by the dirt and it slowly releases, because the temperature in this pen, for the most part, is a consistent, say at the low end 80 and up to 90 degrees. It slowly releases that. So the ambient humidity on the surface, and I just stuck in a little device down there, you can see between them, you can't read it and that, but it says 75%. That's the ambient humidity in this pen, and that's a sunny spot. It's higher than other areas. That ambient humidity of 75%, you want it 70 to 90% ideally for redfoots, because they come from tropical rainforests. And the side benefit is that you don't get any tearing in their eyes. Their eyes are perfectly clear. There's no watery or weeping under their eyes, because the humidity is high enough that it maintains the moisture within their eyes without them having to do it themselves. So that's the simplest way to basically do this. I'll show you the more complex way in just a moment. More advanced method, more costly method, is to invest, I think it's for $45 or $50 on Amazon, in one of these humidifiers. They're by Solo, and you can find them out on Amazon. You basically fill it up to the water line with water, and then you pump it until until the air pressure in there is high enough. That's what you want. And then at this nozzle, you can adjust the mist. We'll go in and mist it, and I'll show you how to mist it momentarily. Here's what I do to mist it. Just go in there, hold the thing down, and you can adjust the spray. I've got it on pretty intense. Just go in there and wet the pen down, your substrate down. My pen, I can use an entire bottle in this. But this is the advantage of the plastic plants. Getting them good and wet, basically the water slowly evaporates off those plastic plants. It takes a while, which increases the humidity. So if you use this mechanism throughout the pen, I'm going to stop here, probably twice a week, on top of dumping that water bowl twice a week, you're going to easily keep the humidity up in your redfoot pen to that 70 to 80, possibly 90%, and not have it so moist that it causes shell rot on their plastrons. And that humidity keeps away the weeping and helps maintain their shells. So there's two mechanisms you can use, two simple ways you can basically utilize this: dumping the water bowl and with a misting system.